What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pace Studios here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. We are really, really lucky today to be joined by Our Lady Peace. Guys, thank you so much for coming to Pace and playing some songs for us today.
Our absolute pleasure to be down here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to have you, man. So you guys have a new record out. You guys sort of have half of a new record out.
Yeah.
So you got this record called Somethingness, Volume 1. You split it into two. Volume 1 came out in August. I think that's right?
Yep.
And Volume 2 is still to come.
It's forthcoming. Yeah, we're pushing. I mean, it's pretty much done. We're just trying to figure out when to release it. Hopefully before Christmas. Hopefully next, 6 weeks. But
all right, cool, man. Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. And you're gonna play some songs from everything today. Some older stuff, some stuff from Volume 1, and a song from the forthcoming Volume 2.
Yet is unreleased.
Yes. Unreleased.
Yeah, unreleased.
That's right, nice.
Which is kind of scary.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Use the word exclusive.
So let's start at number 1. What's the first one we're going to do for us today?
We're going to do Drop Me in the Water, which is on Volume 1. I think this is, if we're able to reflect on the way this whole album has come together, this was really important in the sense that we went into Jackson Browne's place called Groove Masters.
Yeah.
It's not really a public studio. It's in Santa Monica. One of the best studios I think we've ever been in terms of being able to finally record live as a band, because the sight lines, you usually get into studios and it's like there's a little window for the singer to sing out of and it's hard to connect. In this place, because it's his studio and he could do whatever he wanted with it, it's just, you see everyone. It's almost like floor to ceiling windows. And so when we set up in there, it just felt so good, and we recorded everything kind of live off the floor, which I think has an energy that really we've never been able to capture live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of odd too, because the back part of the studio was sort of his touring storage gear. So
Yeah.
the front part definitely looked like a studio. The back part looked a little more casual, like a warehouse.
Or a clubhouse. Yeah, you could tell.
Didn't kind of know what to think, and then we went in and heard the playback, and it was like, oh, okay, this is for real.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
pretty
no joke.
amazing. Yeah, I think he just lets his friends kind of go in there. So I think we can officially say we're one of Jackson's friends now.
I'll ask him about that to confirm.
Please don't. Please don't.
Okay. All right, cool, man.
I'm lying. All right, drop me in the water.
Got it. 1, 2, oh, good. 1, 2, 3.
She's got the sadness eyes, but darkness comes as no surprise. I got to get away from myself. I'm dancing in this devil's waltz. I'm dirty and I need your help. I got to get away from myself. Oh yeah, drop me in the water, try to make me clean. Got this sinking feeling, oh there's a leak. Drop me in the water, try to make me clean. Got this sinking feeling, oh there's a leak. There's a leak. I sleep to dream away time. My body doesn't feel like mine. I got to get away from myself. And I'm dancing in this devil's waltz, and I'm dirty and I need your help. Get away from myself. Oh yeah, drop me in the water, try to make me clean. Got this sinking feeling, oh there's a leak. Drop me in the water, try to make me clean. Got this sinking feeling, oh there's a leak. This boat has a leak. There's a long, long way to go. A long, long Try me in the water, try to make me clean. Got this sinking feeling, oh there's a leak. Try me in the water, try to make me clean. Got this sinking feeling, oh there's a leak. This boat has a leak. Try me in the water. Try me in the water. Try me in the water. There we go.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much.
I don't know if we've ever done that acoustic.
Yeah.
Never. Never.
You know, I ask a lot of bands this who come in here and kind of switch up their format to play in our space. You know, how often do you guys sort of play in this setting like this?
Not lately, often, and especially because the songs are new. We're still like learning them
Yeah.
the way they were recorded.
Yeah.
When you write them, how do you build the components up? Do you start with like acoustic guitars like this, or does it vary song to song?
Yeah, it's so different song to song. This one definitely was like a band song that kind of evolved, even in the studio, which was really nice because it just, you know, getting into Jackson's place, it sounded so good there. You're really able to kind of like sink into different things and try and experiment, and it all sounded so good that it was just a pleasure to write there as well, which is kind of rare.
Tell me about this record. You know, it's unusual in a couple of ways. It's a two-parter, right? Part 1 is out, part 2 forthcoming. Also, it sounds like you recorded it in a way that is not typical for you guys. Was it different in Jackson Browne's place in terms of that sort of live sense of recording? Was that something that you were seeking out when you were going to make this one?
We didn't really know. You know, a friend of ours, Jason Lader, who works. He's a great producer engineer. He's like Rick Rubin's right hand guy. We talked about like Shangri-La, which is Rick's place up in Malibu, which, you know, everyone records there from Chance to, I think Muse is in there right now. But it was really convenient in Santa Monica for us. These guys were all staying around there, and I live not far from there, and Steve. And so we went in there not really knowing much, and then you get everything set up kind of like you do here, and then you get the headphones on and you start playing, and it's like, oh my God, it's never sounded this good before.
And what is the cause of that? What do you describe?
I think it's because it's a private studio. I think he's got it so dialed into the way he likes to record, which is like that. So it just suited what we were going for, and just, you know, it's kind of serendipitous that it just happened to be around these songs, and it was just, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was a lot of fun to make music.
I think it's interesting too nowadays, like, you know, obviously everyone knows the music business has changed, budgets have changed, and, you know, Rain has his own home studio, and it's great and everything. We all have our own little spaces. But there's something about, you know, going into a real legit place like Jackson's Place. There's just a vibe and energy that sometimes you just gotta spend the money and just go in and do that. It is worth it.
Well, yeah, and even the way you record, you know, like digital recording is amazing because there's so many options, and you can do so much with the editing and plugins and all that you're, you know, used to with the digital side of it. But just going in and hitting record and keeping everything is pretty. It's a little scary sometimes, but it's kind of, I think that anxiety that you get while you knowing that that's what's happening is it's tangible now for us, and I think that's the way we want to continue to do it.
Cool. And so, in terms of like, so you went in there, you know, having something in your head that you wanted to try to accomplish, and the studio was sort of conducive to helping you. What was that thing? It's been 5 years since your last record, right? It's been a long time. And I've been reading, you know, about this one, and it sounds like a quote unquote sort of return to form or whatever. That's what I'm hearing.
Right.
I'm not sure what to make of that, whether it's really just an evolution in your career, or if you really were thinking about like recapturing something. What did you go into the studio wanting to do?
Yeah, I think there was a naivety that you only have maybe on your first record, in terms of not knowing anything about the music business, not knowing anything about radio or any of the other bullshit, where you're really just like that naive musician trying to make art. And And I think we've gotten to that. It's like we've been able to come full circle. Our first record was like that. Like we were signed to Sony, but they didn't care anything about us. They kind of liked something we were doing and said, "You're making demos. They sound good. Keep going." You know.
Yeah.
And I think it's taken a while to get right back to that point where we're really just concerned about the art. Like we're really wanted to make a record or an album that it was just, you know, at the end of the day satisfies where we are as musicians and artists. And like I said, it took a while to get there, but this collection of songs definitely speaks volumes for, I think, I don't want to say the happiness, but like I think everyone's very fulfilled and satisfied with what we're making right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and just to jump in for a second, but it's not just maybe the 5-year layoff.
You just had a
helped.
second.
Okay, a second. That's a little more than a second. But
Here we go.
But sort of segueing into the next song is it wasn't just about Jackson Browne's studio. We were on the road with Guns N' Roses. We were trying to pop into studios when we could because, I don't know, I think there's just this fire again that we've maybe captured, that we just want to be playing and creating and working as hard as we can. And it's all just about the idea. And it doesn't really matter where the idea comes from. I think we've been less precious about that maybe this time.
So that's a great segue into this next song is from the second volume of Somethingness.
Yep.
So a lot of people haven't heard this one yet.
No.
Tell us about this song.
Yeah, it's a really interesting song. It's a little hard to talk about because really when we were on the road in the summer, a reporter in Canada, obviously Gord Downie, just passed away from the tragically hip, and everyone was asking, you know, any interview we did, Gord's name came up, and rightfully so. And instead of like, you know, helping write his eulogy, he was still alive, it just sparked this memory in this one interview I was in, and it really was before I even considered myself an artist or a musician. I thought that's what I wanted to do coming out of high school, and I was in Toronto when they had this thing called the Toronto Music Awards. I didn't know what it was. I didn't really know the bands that were playing. I think it was like if I need to get in the music business, maybe I should go to the Toronto Music Awards. So I went, and I was sitting in my seats, and they announced this band, the Tragically Hip, who I'd never really heard of, and they came out on stage, and it was one of the, when I think back on it now, it was one of the most, it's like the clarity of what they look like, the way they came out, it was incredible. And Gord's presence really struck me because I'd always fought with the idea of, okay, if I get, like I used to write a lot of poetry and keep journals in high school. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm not an entertainer. And some of the people I knew, I grew up on Elvis, right? So that was my dad's favorite artist. So I was like, well, he's an entertainer. I don't want to be that. Where else do I fit? And so seeing Gord that night on stage just blew my mind in terms of what he presented on stage as poetry, as what he did with his body, how he really didn't even look at the crowd. It just felt like, wow, I can do that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I can do that exactly, but I can do a version of that, and I connected with that. And so this song is really about that first night that I ever saw Gord Downie and the Tragically play. It's called Ballad of a Poet. Came out like a mountaineer, exploring beauty through the syllables and cheers. There was something different in the air, something magical. The crowd was unprepared. He was long and lean, he held that stage, and Jenny looked at me with reverence on her face, and she said, we left our bodies there that night, 'cause the music shook our souls and saved our lives. Tonight we radiate, the lines have been erased, and I can't leave this place, leave this place, leave this place. This ain't New York or Berlin,
small town bring down kinda happening. He had conviction etched upon his face, like Lenny Bruce or some fucked up William Blake. And he was cloaked in denim head to toe. He traded words like souvenirs in stereo. And there was something different about this night, 'cause it was happening right before our eyes. Tonight we radiate. The lines have been erased, and I can't leave this place, leave this place, leave this place. Tonight we radiate. Tonight we radiate. Tonight we radiate. The lines have been erased, and I can't leave this, I can't leave this place. Tonight we radiate. The lines have been erased, and I can't leave this, I can't leave this place. You came on like a mountaineer, exploring beauty through the syllables and cheers. There was something different in the air, something magical. The crowd was unprepared.
Guys, thank you. I was really happy to hear that falsetto just once so far today. It's back.
Yes.
So speaking of which, I brought up earlier the idea of sort of like thinking back over your career and sort of the direction how it lands at this new album, this sort of two-sided album, and right now you guys just headed out on this tour for the 20th anniversary of Clumsy.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, probably your most recognized record, if you added up all the numbers, I would guess. And so that's,
If you ask Nate Silver.
yeah, that's right. If we sort of took all the exit polling of people coming out of record stores, wherever they are, right. So you guys are going on this tour, and it's for the 20th anniversary. I'm not sure. Are you like playing the record straight through? How are you doing it?
Yeah, we're pretty much doing it. There's a couple songs we skipped just because I refuse to sing them.
You were young.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but yeah, we are. The Clumsy things. It's a little weird. I mean, we're not, and especially me. I'm not really a nostalgic guy.
Yeah.
But our manager kind of talked us into it, and it's fun. It's interesting to go back. There are some really amazing moments in the memories of that record, and some of the specific like special things are still cool and still resonate with the fans, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think if there was anything that convinced me on why this was a good idea, it just feels like that record, for whatever reason, and I have them, and I'm sure there's tons of other records that did it that summer, but it felt like a lot of our fans, like they just always talk about that was the record of my summer in whatever,
Right.
98 or.
Yeah.
So I get that because I have that as well.
In terms of like, so it's an interesting time though, because you are right in the middle of putting out this new music.
Yeah.
You got one leg behind you. You got one leg coming up, songs that no one's heard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're playing these songs every night that are like 2 decades old. Is that a
Yeah.
weird place to be?
I think we've found a way to straddle that in a sense where the first half is Clumsy and the set design and everything that's going on really like honors that era.
Yeah.
And then we go off stage for like 10 minutes and then it flips. Everything changes and you feel like, okay, here's the new LP.
Right.
So I mean, we've only done 2 shows, but it feels like it's working. If you were to judge the crowd, and I think they definitely leave on this. Like they get that little hit at the beginning, and then they get the sense of wow, you know, we play a bunch of new material, and it just feels hopefully relevant, and so they get the best of both worlds.
So when you're on stage doing that show, as the performers, as the creators of all this music, do you feel a distinction between the first set and the second set?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like I think what it is artists, it's that growth, right, and maturity in terms of, like I was saying, there's a couple songs we won't play, and there's even songs that we do play where you just feel like, yep, okay, we weren't there yet, like we weren't as comfortable in our own skin, we forced some things, and now we don't, you know, and I think that's when we talk about being in Jackson's place and Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Somethingness, that's where there's nothing forced at all. It's an amazing feeling as an artist. Yeah, it took probably a little too long for us to get there, but
well, but it says something
better late
about
than
where you
never.
are now, that you were able to sort of complete that circle, I think, right?
yeah, even complete the circle, but I'll also have that like that clarity of why everything works so well now.
Yeah.
Which is amazing because ultimately it has to ultimately we have to be able to do this and play live, and that's where it's really tested, and so far so good in a big way.
Yeah, cool. So that leads us right back to our third song today, which
Clumsy.
I think is Clumsy. Right?
Clumsy, which I don't mind playing.
This is one that you will include.
Yeah, this is not a bad one.
I mean, the couple that you don't, just on a quick aside, I mean, is there any sense like there's somebody in the crowd who's just like, I've been, you know, like, what the hell? That's the song.
I haven't heard anyone ask for their money back yet, but or seen any like social media where they're like, "You guys suck, you didn't play those." But I mean, our fans are really, you know, they're really bright. I think they get it too.
Yeah,
Hopefully, yeah,
right.
I think so. I think
All
we're
right.
on the same page.
Cool.
So I was just checking volume.
You doing intro or am I doing intro?
I can do intro. You want to do intro?
Either way.
Want me to do it? I can do it.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Throw away the radio, suitcase that keeps you awake. Hide the telephone in case you realize that sometimes you're just not okay. You level up, it's not alright now. You need to understand there's nothing strange about this. You need to know your friends. You need to know that I'll be waving my hand, watching you drown, watching you scream quiet all loud. And maybe you should sleep, and maybe you just need enough friend, clumsy as you've been. No one laughing, you will be safe in here. No, and you will be safe in here. Throw away this very old shoelace, it tripped you again. Try and shrug it off, shrug it off. It's only skin now. You need to understand, nothing fake about this. You need to let me in. I'm watching you and I'll be waving my hand, watching you drown, watching you scream. No one's around. And maybe you should sleep, and maybe you just need enough friend, clumsy as you've been. No one laughing, you will be safe in here. No, and you will be safe. watching you drive, watching you scream, quiet on loud. And maybe you should sleep, and maybe you just need not feel clumsy as you've been. No one laughing, you will be safe in here. No, and you will be safe in here. No, now you will be safe in here. In here. Oh, 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 in here. No, no, in here. No, in here. No, in here.
Cool.
Guys, thank you so much. That song sounds great in this format. I gotta say, I don't think I've ever heard Clumsy played on acoustic guitars.
Yeah, probably.
Not in like a dorm room, not by you, you know.
Yeah,
Matt,
I mean, it's just cool down here. Thanks,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, cool. It's our pleasure, man. So everyone, this, of course, is Our Lady Peace. The new record is called Something This, Volume 1, out. Volume 2, forthcoming, hopefully, end of the year-ish.
Yes, end of the year, exactly.
And these guys are on tour right now, doing Clumsy. Also new material as well, but they're playing Clumsy minus 2 songs, or a couple, I guess.
You didn't have to say that. Man.
Come on, Matt.
Sorry. All right, everything is there for you. They're at the you guys are at Irving Plaza tonight here in New York City.
Yes.
And the tour is ongoing. You just started, I think, a few
We
days
did.
ago.
Yeah, we just, yeah, it's like New York, Boston.
Yep.
Crazy. It's going to be good.
Yeah, great. And of course, OurLadyPeace.com is where everyone can find those dates. So check these guys out and pick up Something This. Our Lady Peace. Guys, thank you so much for
Thanks.
coming
Thanks
and
for
playing
having
for
us.
us at
Thank
Pace
you.
today.
My pleasure.
It's a great honor.
That was fun.
Yeah, come back and play for us again anytime, man.